everyone, you're welcome to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. So today we'll be making jumpsuit Bubu, but trust me, I'll show you different ways that you can wear this jumpsuit Bubu. Yes, different ways that you can style it. So make sure you watch this video till the very end and subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed. Don't forget to give this video a like, share it with your friends, and turn on the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll be among those that will be notified. So let's get started.
So for us to get started, we need our fabric. So actually, I was doing this on my fabric, but the lines, the chalk marks I made were not so visible. And I know that in that way you will not really understand it. So I have to switch to using paper. Okay, so I just canceled that video and decided to use paper so that you can see the markings clearly. So why am I saying this? I'm saying it because whatever I'm doing on this paper can be done directly on your fabric. All you need to do is to, fold your fabric in the right way. So you need to fold your fabric. And how do you fold your fabric? So let me use on that paper as an example. If this is my fabric, okay, I would measure the full length of my jumpsuit or my Bubu. I'll measure the full length and fold it, okay? So let's say the half of this paper is the full length. So you need to fold it so that you get the back and the front, okay? So by the time you fold it, you have this. And one more thing, make sure you're using a fabric that the width is long enough because of the butterfly or the Bubu part of the jumpsuit. So your fabric should have at least 60 inches width. We have fabrics that come by 60 inches. So that's what you should be using. So by the time you fold your fabric into two like this, from this point to this point is the full length of your jumpsuit, okay, how long you want it to be. Then you fold again like this. So this is if you are using fabric, that's if you're cutting on your fabric directly. This is how you should fold it. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, for the back and the front. So by the time you have folded your fabric this way, you can go ahead and start placing your measurements or the marking. So now, since I'm using paper, I'm not going to fold it, but I've assumed that I have folded my fabric and this is what we have. So I have the full length of my fabric here. That is the full measurement I need. So I have to join the paper to complete it, okay? So then the width is giving me the same thing I should have on my fabric after folding. So that's having been said, now let's go straight to the point, okay? So the first thing to do for you to get started is to mark out at least 5 inches from this side, okay? So the 5 inches is for our crotch extension. So we'll mark it, okay? So if the person's hip measurement is not up to 40, you can actually use like 4 inches on this side, but at least 5, okay? So I'll just mark 5 inches all the way down and draw a straight line. So now you place your vertical measurement. So from the shoulder here, we'll mark our bust point plus ½ inch. So the ½ inch is for joining our shoulder because we'll be cutting the shoulder for our shoulder slope, okay? So when you're placing when you're taking the measurement on your fabric, please add your hemming allowance and ½ inch for joining that shoulder back because you're going to slant it, okay? So when joining it to reduce your measurement, so you can add like 2 inches to your actual measurement. So the bust point here is 11 inches. We'll mark it. So we'll also mark our actual waist, okay? The actual waist point, which is 17 for me, and the lower waist point where you put on your trouser, okay? So in this case, it is 20 inches, and the hip point from the shoulder is 25 inches. And then the knee point, okay? So the knee point from the shoulder is 40 inches. Then we have the full length. Yeah, that is where the ankle is. Okay, so let me just mark out all these points and I will explain further. So we have the bust point, the waist. This is the actual waist. Okay, you know, when you bend, where you feel it going in is your actual waist. Then the lower waist is where you put on your trousers or your skirt. So why am I placing the lower waist? This will help us determine the crotch depth. Okay, then this is the hip and the knee. So for the crotch depth, normally your crotch depth is your hip circumference divided by 4, or you can sit on a hard surface, measure from your waist where you wear your trouser to that hard surface and you get your crotch depth. So for me, my crotch depth is 10 inches and it's from this lower waist that I would mark it. So remember that we're making a jumpsuit. It has to be free, so that you can sit comfortably, you can bend and do every other thing without it, you know, tightening you at your tummy. So you're going to add extra inches to your crotch depth. Okay, so at least 3 inches is okay. You can take more than 3 depending on how free you want it to be, but at least 3 inches. So my crotch depth is 10 inches. Okay, then I'll add 3 inches, that is 13 inches, and this is it. So you're marking it from the lower waist, so that's why you need to place the lower waist measurement. Then the actual waist measurement is just for shaping. Okay, so you can place that measurement and shape it. So this is our crotch depth. So this is the crotch depth, okay, for our jumpsuit. So having done this, now we're going to place the horizontal measurement. So for the bust circumference divided by 4 is 9 inches. Then I'll add half inch for ease. Okay, half inch for ease. So I'm marking at 9.5. Then the waist measurement is 8.5. That is the waist divided by 4. 8.5 plus half inch for ease, that is 9. Okay, so for me the same measurement I have here is what I have here. So if yours is different, you can also mark it. Then for the hip circumference divided by 4 is 10 plus half inch for ease, we have 10.5. Okay, then the same measurement we have at the hip is what we place at the crotch. That's what we place at the crotch depth here. Okay, so we'll connect everything. So I go like this from the bust to the waist. So from the waist to the hip. So we'll go this way. I hope I'm connecting correctly. So here I have 9 inches here, because I have so many marks now. So from here now, just connect to the hip. Okay, and from the hip we also connect to the crotch. Here you can use your hip curve. So if your hip is protruding, like you're very hippie, let me use that, you can actually use your hip curve. But if you don't have so much hip, you can go ahead and just use your ruler. Okay, so but don't just make it artificial hip. So let's go this way. Okay, so we're going to mark this all the way down. We're going to mark it all the way down. So just from here you mark it all the way down. So you can actually measure what you have here so I don't make mistake. Okay, we have 10.5. You can come here and place 10.5. I hope you are seeing this. Okay, so I just marked the same thing there, and you connect. Just connect. Okay, good. So this line down will help us in the shaping of our trouser parts. So when you have placed your horizontal measurement as shown, you would now place your round thigh measurement. Okay, so you're going to measure your round thigh, divide it by 2 and mark and measure it on this crotch depth. So the round thigh measurement divided by 2 in this case is 12.5. Okay, so I'll mark 12.5. Here it is. Okay, so this is my crotch extension. Now let me draw the line. Let me extend the line. This is my crotch extension. So now you're going to make a curve from this crotch extension to touch this line. So it shouldn't be too curvy and it shouldn't be so slanted. So to help you, just measure 1 inch from this point like so. Measure 1 inch, okay? So now you just make your curve, touch the 1 inch and touch this line. Normally, if it were to be ordinary trouser, what we will do is connect it to the hip point. But since the distance from our crotch is far from the hip point, just connect it back to this line. Okay, so just make sure it touches the 1 inch and back to this line. So this is our crotch extension. Okay, for the front, the back will be a little bit different. So when you have done this now, you measure what you have here. Yes, measure it and find the midpoint, like divide it by 2 simply by folding your tape like this. Okay, so you can just press your tape so that you know where you have it, and this is it. Okay, so when you have done this, what you do now, this very measurement you got here. Okay, so let me mark it. This is it. You mark it. Okay, this is to help us shaping our trouser, the lower part of the trouser. So you're taking that measurement from this side. Okay, I hope it is clear. You measure what you have here, find the midpoint. When you find the midpoint, place the measurement from this side. You mark it. You also come to this point, you mark it. You go down to your ankle, you also mark it. So when you mark it, just draw a straight line to connect all of them. Connect the points, okay? So this will help us shapen our trouser because it's not going to be so loose. Though if you want it loose, you might not need to do this. What you simply do is connect from this crotch extension to your knee and to your ankle, depending. Maybe just place the same measurement you have here, that is the measurement you have at your hip here. You also place it at the lower point and you just connect. Okay, just as you're seeing it. If you want it loose, but for this very style we don't want it so loose, and it's not going to be so tight as well that I can easily remove it. So when you have drawn this line now, you now place your round nail measurement. So you're going to measure around the nail, divide it by 4. Okay, now normally you divide by 2, but after dividing by 2, you still need to divide it by 2 again to be able to apportion the measurement here. So to make it easy, your round nail divide by 4. That is what you'll be placing here. So in this case, the round nail measurement is 21 inches. So 21 inches divided by 4. And this is what I have. Okay, so when you divide it by 4, whatever you have, mark from this center point going this way, from the center point coming this way. Okay, the same measurement. So what I have here is about 5 inches, okay, or 4.75. So it's 4.75 that I have. I'll mark it here, and from here again, from this middle point, I'll come out again here and mark my 4.75. Okay, still on that new point. I hope this is clear. That's how we actually draw. That's why I drew this line. So this line is the grain line or the ghetto line, when you're making trouser. So from this point you take, the measurements, and from this point, so by the time you measure it, you'll be getting half of your round nail measurements. Okay, normally you're supposed to divide your round tie by 2, your round nail by 2. Okay, but because you want to apportion it equally, that is how we divided by 4. So when you now apportion it, okay, this side is equal, this side is equal. When you measure it, you'll be getting your round nail measurement. Okay, so that is what it is. So I hope I measured correctly. So let me take it again. Okay, so it's actually 5 points. This is the right measurement here. Okay, so this is actually the right measurement because the half of my round nail is 10.5. 3.5. Okay, so this is around the actual measurement, this and this. So you do the same thing for the ankle points. Okay, so the ankle is 14 inches. So for your ankle, you measure across your leg so that you'll be able to remove your trouser and wear it. So if you're not working with a stretchy fabric, don't make your trouser so tight at the ankle, so you can easily remove it unless you want to have zipper there. So now the half of our round ankle is 7 inches. That is to say, by the time I divide that 7 inches by 2, I have 3.5 on this side and 3.5 on this side. So I hope you understand. The half, that is the round ankle, is 14. So I divide it by 4, I'll have 3.5. So please try to understand it. Okay, so I mark 3.5 on this side, and from the center point again I mark 3.5. okay, so I hope this is clear. Now we would connect from this point to the knee point to the ankle point. Okay, so just place your ruler in such a way that it should touch the points. So you first of all connect your new point, and from the new point you go to the ankle. Go to the ankle this way. Okay, so I'm trying to darken it so that you see it and be able to differentiate it from the other lines. So this one is cancelled, these ones are cancelled now. Okay, so this is the mark we have. Then on this side you're going to connect as well. You do the same thing. This is our mark here. So you're going to connect from this crotch depth to this point. Okay, I can't find my small ruler, but let's just do it. Just go this way, just blend out any sharp edge. Okay, so go this way and to the ankle, to the ankle. So we have our jumpsuit. So this one now is cancelled. This is what we have. This, I hope you can see it. If you look at it, you'll be seeing the jumpsuit. Okay, so this is from the waist down, and this is up. So by the time you have gotten this, okay, we have gotten the front part of our jumpsuit. Now we'll be getting the back part. So remember, the back crotch side is a bit wider than the front because of your butt, okay, the bum. So the back crotch should be wider. So now for the back crotch extension, from this point you're going to add like 2 inches, okay, depending on the hip measurement of the person. For hip measurement of 40 inches and below, you can use 2 inches extension for the back crotch. Then above 40, like 45, 48, you can use 2.5. Above 50, you use 3 inches. Okay, so here I'll be using 2 inches. Now this is it. You just extend it by 2 inches, then you come down by 1/4 inch. Okay, so I hope you understand. At this point you extend it by 2 inches, then you come down by 1/4 inch, and you just slant it. So the back crotch should not be so deep, it should be a bit slanted. So you go this way, okay, back to the line. So I just decided to use chalk first of all before I trace it. So this is the back crotch coming down. So I hope you see this. The front one ended here, the back one extended down. Okay, so this very 2 inches I used here, I'm going to mark it all the way to this side. Okay, so just mark 2 inches all the way down, and you connect it. So if you check my trouser class, you see that the back side of the trouser is usually bigger than the front side, and that also applies here. Okay, so you just connect it, and that is it for the back. Okay, so this is the back and this is the front. So don't worry, I hope you're not confused about the so much line. So let me use green marker. I actually intended to use green marker for this back so that you understand. So this is actually the back part. Okay, this is the back. So here now we'll be adding seam allowance because we'll be cutting off this place, we'll be cutting it open and we'll join it back. So we need seam allowance of 1/2 inch to join it back. So let's place our seam allowance 1/2 inch. So just mark 1/2 inch. So you mark your 1/2 inch and you connect. So for the front, the stopping here, then the back extended to this point. So when we are cutting it, to be clearer to you, the 1/2 inch for the front ended here. Then this other side is for the back. So I hope you're seeing. Now the back will be having zipper. And we need 1 inch allowance for zipper, okay, zipper allowance. So since we have 1/2 inch here already, we're going to add another 1/2 inch for our zipper allowance, and the zipper will just get like close to the hip. It will not get to the hip point completely. So from the hip point you can come up by 1.5 or even 2 inches, okay. So depending on how you want it anyway, because we want to be able to remove your jumpsuit. So I added a little ease there. I added a little ease. So 2 inches from the hip point is okay for our zip to get to. So we are marking 1/2 inch. We're adding 1/2 inch there. So that the 1/2 inch plus 1/2 inch will give us our 1 inch zipper allowance. So I hope this is clear. They will connect. So let me use green to indicate that this is for the back. So this is our 1 inch zipper allowance, and this is how it will go. Okay. Now we're going to place the neckline. We're going to place the neckline. So for the back neckline, our width, this is where we're marking it from. The width is 4 inches. So I'm using 4 inches and the depth to be 1 inch for the back. Okay, so just connect. Okay, then for the front, the depth for the front neckline would be, so it should extend to the zipper allowance. Okay, should extend to the zipper allowance. While for the front, the width is the same definitely. Then the back, the depth is 7 inches. So it's going to be a V neckline. So I'll mark 7 inches and I'll connect it. So you can make yours as deep as you want or as high as you want. So that is my 7 inches and I'll connect it. Okay, so every part I've used green is for the back and this is for the front. Okay, so these are front neckline and this is our back neckline. But first of all, we're going to cut out the back, then we'll now cut the front. So when you have done this now, it's now remaining for us to place our shoulder slope. Okay, so you come here, you come to the end of the fabric like so, you step down by 1 inch and you connect it back to the neck width. You connect it to the neck width like so. Okay, you connect it and we have it here. So guys, this is it. This is it. We go ahead to cut. So when we cut, we are not touching this side because this is where we have our butterfly. This is just what we are cutting out, this area. Okay, so we're going to cut the back. we are cutting the back first of all. By the time we cut our back and cut it on the fabric, then we'll cut out the front and cut on our fabric. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut. See, so I hope this is clear. Remember, this side we're leaving it that way, and I didn't add any seam allowance on this side because by the time we stitch here, we can still take our measurement on this side. We can still take whatever measurement we want the round knee and the round ankle to be. Okay, so no need of adding seam allowance on this side. So right now I'll get my fabric and cut. So I have two different fabrics. I have this one and this one. Okay, so for this tie, make sure you're using a fabric that has something in common, like we have this very color here as well, so that it would rhyme. Okay, so I'm going to place my fabric on fold. The same thing I'll cut on this fabric is the same thing I'll cut on the other fabric. So I'm just going to place it on fold and cut out the back. So I've placed my fabric on fold the way I placed it initially, so you can see. So now there are different ways you can do this. Okay, you can actually separate your back from the front, like just cutting this fabric into half here. You remove the back. Okay, that's you remove one for the back and move one for the front. But if you're going to cut directly on your fabric, you don't need to do that. You just go ahead and fold everything. By the time you cut out the back, you now cut out the front. So I'll just get my pattern and I'll place it. So if you're using paper, that if you have cut on paper, what you simply do is, you use your crotch depth. Sorry, my light is fluctuating, please. So you use your crotch depth to mark where your paper will be. That is, you are not just going to place it this way. Your crotch depth will be out of the fabric. So your crotch depth is what will, sorry, the crotch extension is what will determine how you place your pattern. Okay, so bear with me. Now you place it like so. The neckline should be at the top, should align at the top, and your crotch extension should align here. So I like using paper tape to hold my fabric down before I cut so that it will not move. Okay, so once I've placed this one here, I'll just hold it down. So then come to the neckline, hold it down. Okay, so you can do this to any other parts. Right now I'll go ahead and cut. So remember, we are not touching this side. Even on my fabric, I'm not going to touch that side for now. This is just where we are cutting. So I'll go ahead and cut. So I will start from the shoulder. So I'm done cutting the back. Okay, I will remove the fabric now, like the back pattern. So what you simply do, because they are the same thing, you can just remove the two back. Okay, just remove the two, that is, remove these two lower ones. So you just do that carefully. So remove the two lower ones. I will remove this one as the back. Now when we want to stitch, this is what we're going to do. We're going to fix our zipper up to this point. By the time we fix our zipper, remember we're taking 1 inch zipper allowance. Okay, taking 1 inch zipper allowance. That is it here. By the time we move our 1 inch zipper allowance, we are going to stitch this point by 1/2 inch just to the crotch extension. We are going to stitch this way, okay, leaving this side open. So let's finish cutting, then I will explain that. So we're setting the back aside. Now let's come back to the front. So carefully arrange it back. Carefully arrange it back, okay? It's now time to cut out the front. So we are going to do that on our pattern, then place it on the fabric and cut, okay? So now on our pattern, we are done with the back. So remember, this is where we have our crotch for the front here, this point, okay? So we are cutting it out. So this is what we are cutting out from here. Remember? So we are removing this. This is our crotch extension for front and the seam allowance for it. And again, we are removing this 1/2 inch, which is the zipper allowance for the back. We are removing the 1/2 inch, leaving our 1/2 inch for stitching the front. Okay, so you see what we have left. These are 1/2 inch for stitching up the front. And now we'll cut off our neckline for the front. So this is it. So we have our front now. So we'll just place it back on this. So for you to be able to place your front without any mistake, what you do, you can use your neck width as a guide in this one now. Make sure your neck width is aligning with the back neck width, okay? So make sure your that is the neck width and the shoulder slope are aligning in this case. So I can also use pin to hold it here now. So let me use pin, okay? So I will use pin to hold it here. So remember, your neck width should align. Your neck width should align and the shoulder slope. Once you have aligned it, you pin it. Okay, so I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. Align your neck width and the shoulder slope must align because you cut the back and the shoulder slope together. So I'll pin it as well. So now, by the time we have done this, we are cutting out every other part that is not part of the paper. Okay, so we are cutting out every other part that is not part of the paper. So we are cutting this. So you can see what we have here now. This is it for the front. So now I'm going to now place this fabric on the other one. And remember, we have two different fabrics here. So the way I cut this, that is how I also cut this for the back and front. So let me do just that, okay? So I'm done cutting the other fabric, okay? Both for the front and for the back. So I just use my pin to hold it down and I cut. So now let me show you how to go about stitching it. So remember, this other side is still the way it is. We have not touched it yet. So let me just remove this other one. So let's move over to how to stitch it. So this is the front. So this is our neckline for the front, our V neckline. So I'll go ahead and close up this point, okay? So 1/2 inch from the neckline to the crotch. 1/2 inch from the neckline to the crotch is just what I will stitch. So the same thing I do on this fabric is what I'll also do on this other fabric, okay? So by the time you stitch it to the crotch, this side will be open. You leave this side open. So let me do that and I'll show you what we have. Then for the back, For the back, we'll go ahead and also fix our zipper. So since we are working with two fabrics here, this is how we're going to do it. Since we're working with two fabrics, we're just going to do it in such a way that you know how we actually use lining to sew. That's what we're going to use. Let me open it up so I see what we have. So this is the back, okay, you can see. Now we're going to stitch the crotch area by half inch. We're going to stitch it up to where we have our zipper allowance. So this is how we're going to place it. Just turn it this way and we'll go ahead to stitch. Okay, just close up this point, leaving the zipper area open. And we're going to do same for this other fabric. So I'll just call this fabric the lining. So I have stitched it, okay, so I decided to just stitch it before I explain to you so you understand it. This is the front and this is the back. So you can see the front neckline, which is V, is still open. So I stitched from the neck depth, okay, down to the crotch, extension, okay. That is the only thing I stitched. Then for the back, this is the neck for the back, and this is our zipper allowance. So I stitch from where our zipper will get to down to the crotch. This is just what I stitched, okay. And I did same for this other fabric, which we'll be using as our lining. So this is the front. This is our front neckline, our front V-neck. Then stitch down to the crotch. For the back, I did exactly what I did on this other one. Okay, so we have our zipper allowance open with our neckline, then stitch from this point to the crotch. So now this is what we're going to do. We're going to stitch, we are going to stitch the fabrics. That is this one together, the lining together like this. So let me just open it up so you understand. So we just open it up. Now we open it up now. This is the back and this is the front. So we place them good sides facing each other. So don't be confused about this. It is very, very simple, okay? So we're placing them good sides facing each other and we are stitching only the shoulder. We are stitching only the shoulder, okay? So just match it up. Remember we slanted our shoulder and we cut it. So you're just going to stitch the shoulder. Just stitch it to the neck width, okay, for this fabric, and do the same thing on the other fabric. So just stitch to the neck width, that is your shoulder, like this. Place them together and you stitch to the neck width like so. Okay, so let me do just that and I'll show you the next thing to do. So I have joined the back and the front at the shoulder. So you can see what we have here. This is the neckline for the front, the neckline for the back, and the zipper allowance is still open, okay. So I hope this is clear. We have stitched the shoulder, joining the back and front. This is our crotch area, as you can see, okay. So now, having done this, we'll also bring this one. I also did the same thing for this one, remember. We joined the back and the front at the shoulder. This is our front neck and this is the back, the zipper area, okay. So this is what we're going to do now. We're going to place them good sides facing each other. We're just going to align them like this. This is the front neckline and the front neckline of this one. You place them, just match them up. So at this point now you can work with your pin, okay. So you pin them down at the neckline. Then at the shoulder, you match them up at the shoulder as well. I hope you are seeing this. That is at the shoulder, yes, you match them up. Both sides facing each other. And this is the back neckline. Also going to match them up. Okay, so we're just going to stitch them round. That is what we're stitching now is the neck line. Okay, so I hope you're seeing this. What we are stitching now is the neckline. Just match up the neckline, match up the shoulders, good sides facing each other. Then you go ahead and you stitch the neckline. After stitching the neckline round, so let me open it this way so that you see. This is the back neckline. You stitch all the way to the front neckline, you stitch to the back neckline. Then this zipper area, you also match them up. You match the zipper area, you stitch as well, like so. So just match it up also. Match it up. So you go ahead and stitch. So we're stitching around the neckline, the zipper area to the other side. So let me do just that. Then we'll turn it and we'll fix our zipper. Then we'll move down to the trouser part. Okay. So let me do just that. This is the zipper allowance now. This is our space for zipper. Okay. So you can see inside, this is what we have. Okay. And outside, this is what we have. Then at the shoulder, you see that we have concealed the stitches. By the time we turn it to the other side, this side is clean and this side, so the stitches are in between the both of them. So that is why I had to, to achieve this, you have to sew them separately, then you join them at the neckline. Okay, so make sure you notch your neckline and give it a good press. That's a notch from inside. So now I'll fix my zipper. So I'm just going to use a black zipper because the zipper will be on this side of the fabric and black goes well with it. So I'll go ahead, fix my zipper just the normal way we fix our zipper. Okay, so I have fixed the zipper. Okay, as you can see. So we have our zipper. Okay, now the next thing to do is to stitch up this lower part, the trouser part. So we're going to just turn it to the wrong side. Turn it to the wrong side. Okay, so just carefully spread it out. So now you're just going to match it up, the crotch to the crotch like this. Okay, you can decide to just stitch this one together, but there's no point. Just let's do it at once. So just match them up, the back crotch and the front crotch together with the lining like this, and you do same with this. You just bring them together. So you bring them together like so. Then we'll go ahead and stitch. So you can see this. You stitch from the crotch down like this. From the crotch here, you stitch down to the ankle, and from this crotch, you stitch down to the ankle. Okay, matching up the lining and the main fabric. You can see how we have them. So you go ahead and stitch them. So after stitching, you can decide to finish up the edge by either hemming it or using bias tape, or you do fold hemming. That's like you would fold it together the way we finish up jeans trouser. Okay, so all I'm saying here is just after stitching this side, just knitting it up whichever way you want, um either by interlocking it, okay, that is weaving it, or doing whatever you want to do to make it clean. So I'll do just that and we'll see what we have. Then we'll go ahead to the other side. Okay, so I have stitched the lower part, as you can see. Okay, I've stitched it. This is what we have. Now you can see this. So we're actually going to turn it to the other side because this is the inner part of the dress or of the jumpsuit. So we're going to turn it to the other side like this. So I've turned it to this side, okay, and this is what we have. You can see the lower part. So it's now time to shape our jumpsuit, okay. So what you need to do is just arrange it. Arrange everything very well. So by the time you arrange it very well, We're not going to shape it, like mark out what we need. So the center point is already obvious because we stitched it. So we're now going to place half of our measurement, that is half of our round measurement this side and half of the round measurement this other side. So for our circumference, now what you do, and just measure from the bust, from your shoulder. The bust circumference is 11 inches. So we're going to mark it. Okay, so this is where we'll have it. Then our waist, then the waist is here. Then the hip is here. The knee is here. And the ankle down. Okay. So by the time you have marked the points, so let me just extend them to this side. So I'll clean up the chalk later on. I'm just doing this so that you would see it, okay? So I hope you can see my chalk. So now at the bust point, we would place our round bust measurement divided by 4, okay? So which is 9 inches plus ease. Remember I added ease, that is 9.5. So I'll mark it on this side and I'll do same thing on this other side. But let's treat one side first, okay? Then at the waist, we have 8.5 plus ease, that is 9. We'll mark it. Then at the hip, our hip is 10 plus half, that is 10.5. So now at the knee, you're going to take your round knee measurement divided by 2, okay? So now it's by 2 we are placing there, and what I have is 10.5. So I'm going to place it here. So this 10.5 includes the ease I want at that round knee, okay? Then at the ankle, we need 7. Yes, that is the round ankle divided by 2. That is 7. So I'm just going to place it at the hem or at the lower part of the dress. So now we're just going to connect everything. So you know why I'm doing this on the right side, because we are stitching on the right side, okay? So I'm not even adding any seam allowance. It's just the ease we need. That's all I added. No seam allowance because you are not stitching it inside. So just connecting. So here I'll just connect it. I don't want it to be so straight because of the hip. So we'll go this way. So the same thing I did on this side, I will do on this other side. But for now, we'll just go ahead and stitch this one. So I'm marking it clearly so that you see. So we are stitching from here. Okay, this is the bust point. So we're going to step up a little bit because this is where our hand will come out from. Okay, so it's just like the sleeve. So we'll come up a bit to create our sleeve. So from the bust point, you can come up by 2 inches. Okay, so this is actually where the stitch will start from this place all the way down. We are not cutting out anything here. I'll only shape it, that is, give it the kind of shape I want for the butterfly. So I'll go ahead and stitch this all the way down. So in order not for it to just scatter while I'm picking it up, I would pin it down. Okay, so just arrange everything neatly, starting from the shoulder. So as to stay well. Then just make sure everything is in place, okay? And go ahead and stitch. So the same thing I'll do on this side, remember I'll do on the other side. So after stitching here, I'll come over to this side and measure the same thing and stitch. So I've gone ahead to stitch the both sides, okay, as you can see what we have here. All right, now what is left for us to do is to hem the lower part. Then these sides, okay, let me just use this other side. You see what we have here? I'm going to just trim it to be equal because it's no longer equal now. And after trimming it to be equal, what I'll do is the lining part, that is this inner one, I would just, now there are different ways you can actually finish up this. You can hem it, you can fold it, okay, or you would fold it this way. That is this inner one inside and this one like this. That is, fold the both of them and you top stitch like so. I hope you can see. You fold this one, you fold this one just lightly and you top stitch. You do that all the way down, okay. So when you do it this way, it's actually be neater, so that from this side you'll be seeing only this, and from this side you'll be seeing only this, okay.
And guys, this is a finished look of our dress. So you can see this very dress can be worn in different ways. You can see what we have here. This is our jumpsuit, Bubu. And you saw what I did there. You can wear it as jumpsuit, Bubu. You can also wrap it up as gown. So for all the parts that I wrapped up, I actually just used pin. Okay, so you can just fix buttons, these press buttons, and use it to hold it if you want to wear it as gown. Okay, so that is just it. I hope you love this video. Give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also turn on your notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll be among those that will be notified. Thank you for watching, and give this video a huge like and share it to your friends. Thank you. Remain blessed. See you in my next video. Remain blessed.